E.N.D here, day 7 for the spoilers of Innistrad Midnight Hunt, the last 2 days of the spoiler season, and the set will be fully spoiled. Leave in the comment below which is your favorite card or cards. Let's start. And I want to start with a very basic common card, Bird Admirer 2 and 1 green, it's a 1/4 with reach and day bound, which means that when it's day it's Bird Admirer, when it's night it's Wing Shredder, a werewolf 3/5 with reach. Scalp Wrangler for 1 and 1 blue, it's a 2/1, tap 3 untap creatures you control, tap target creature. This card goes hand in hand with those decayed creatures. Overland Archivist for 2 and 1 blue, it's a 3/2, enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard the card, and has Disturb for 3 and 1 blue, which means that if you disturb this creature while it's in your graveyard, you will have Archive Hound for 2/1 with flying. Whenever it attacks, draw a card, discard the card, and if it's die, you will exile it. Outland Liberator for 1 and 1 green, it's a 2/2, sacrifice it, destroy target artifact or enchantment, and has day bound. Which means that if it's day, it's Outland Liberator, when it's night, it's Frenzy Trap Breaker for 3/3, for 1, sacrifice it, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Whenever it attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. Moonsilver Key for 2. For 1, tap, sacrifices, search your library for an artifact card with mana ability or a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. This is the ideal card to tutor your Sol Ring. Field of Ruin, yes, they reprinted Field of Ruin in Innistrad Midnight Hunt, and I think this was a last minute reprint because of the Book of Exalted Deeds and the Faceless Heaven. You need Field of Ruin to destroy that particular land. Now that we have seen some common and uncommon cards, it's the time of some more spicy cards. Rare cards, Ram Corolus Towel Slayer for 1 red and 1 white, it's a 2/3, flying and haste. If a spell would deal damage to you or a permanent you control, prevent that damage. If a spell would deal damage to an opponent or permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage +1 instead. Ludovic Necrogenius for 1 black and 1 blue, it's a 2/3, enters the battlefield or attacks, mills a card. X to blue and to black, exile X cards from graveyard, transform it, X can bid 0, activate only as sorcery. So you need at least 5 mana to transform Ludwig Necrogenius, and it transforms into Olak Ludwig Hubris, a 4/4 zombie creature. As it transforms, it becomes a copy of one of the exiled cards, except its name is still Olak Ludwig Hubris and it's still a 4/4 blue-black legendary zombie. Put a +1/+1 counter for each card exiled this way. Suspicious Stowaway for 1 blue, it's a 1/1, can be blocked. Whenever this combat damage to a player, draw a card and discard the card, and has day bound, which means that when it's day, it's Suspicious Stowaway, when it's night, it's Teferi Werewolf. It can be blocked, it's a 2/1. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. Slograk the Overslime for 1 green and 1 blue, it's a 2/3 with trample. Whenever a land is put into your graveyard from anywhere, put a +1/+1 on it, remove 3 +1/+1 from it, return it to its owner hand. When it leaves the battlefield, return up to 3 target land cards from your graveyard to your hand. Catilda Dawnheart Headwitch for 1 green and 1 white, it's a 1/1 protection from werewolves. Each human control has tap and 1 mana of any of this creature's colors. For 1 green and 1 white, tap, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Vadrik Astral Archmage for 1 green and 1 red, it's a 1/2. If it's neither day nor night, it becomes day as it enters the battlefield. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost X less to cast, where X is Valdric power. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Wake to Slaughter, 3, 1 black and 1 red, it's a sorcery. Choose up to 2 target creature cards in your graveyard. An opponent chooses one of them. Return that card to your hand, return the other to the battlefield under your control, it gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step. Flashback for 4, 1 black and 1 red. Sigarza Splendor for 2 and 2 white, it's an enchantment. Enters the battlefield, note your life total. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if your life total is greater than or equal to the last noted life total for Sigarza Splendor. Take note your life total. Whenever you cast a white spell, you gain 1 life. Let me stop here and discuss this card. Finally, a good white drawing spell. Enters the battlefield, note your life total. So let's say your life total was 15. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if your life total is greater than or equal to the last noted life total, which is 15. And let's say it remains 15 and you will draw a card. You will note your life total again, which will remain 15. Play a white spell and your life total goes to 16. At the beginning of your upkeep, you will draw a card because your life total is greater than or equal to 15. And you will note the new life total, which is 16. Let's say you take some damage, a shock in the face, and you go to 14. At the beginning of your upkeep, you will not draw a card, but you will note 14 as life total. Let's say you will play a couple of spells and from 14 you go to 16. At the beginning of your upkeep, you will draw a card and note 16 as your life total, and so on and so on. I think this is a very strong card, especially in Commander. We have seen the rare cards, now is the turn of the mythic cards. First one, Lear, Disciple of the Drowned, 3 and 2 blue, it's a 3/4 human wizard. Spells can't be countered. Each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard has flashback. The flashback cost is equal to that card's mana cost. Sigurdian Savior, 3 and 2 white, it's a 3/3 with flying, enters the battlefield. If you cast it, return up to 2 target creature cards with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And finally, he's back. Looks who's back. Teferi, who slows the sunset. 2, 1 white and 1 blue. It's a 4 loyalty counter, Teferi Planeswalker. +1, choose up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, and up to 1 target land. Untap the chosen permanents you control. Tap the chosen permanents you don't control. You gain 2 life. Already scary. The +1 ability, it's already scary. And remember, this is only a 4-drop. -2, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand, the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. -7, you get an emblem with untap all permanents you control during each opponent's untap step, and you draw a card during each opponent's draw step. This is a very strong Teferi Planeswalker card. So that was the last card for this particular day 7 of the spoilers of Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Tune in tomorrow for the last day of the spoilers of Innistrad Midnight Hunt and anything related to Magic the Gathering and the collectible world.